It's been 1 year since my last decluttering video, and a lot can accumulate in a year. I think decluttering is a necessary habit to have in your routine, to own your belongings instead of letting them own you. Hopefully, this helps you to be more content with what you have and more mindful when making purchases. I am highly imperfect at this, and since my last decluttering video, all the space that I made then has already been filled up with stuff. Even if my house doesn't seem cluttered, just underneath the surface is a lot of stuff that nobody sees. Learning to let go of the things that you own is hard. Somehow they become part of you, if only a small part. You can't get rid of it because what if there's that one time that you need it? Maybe it's time to say no, I don't need that. We'll talk more about this as we go, but let's get started.
That's a lot of t-shirts.
We're starting with the closet, because usually that's where most of the stuff is.
Usually.
Something I thought about before we started doing the decluttering was, I guess, why I get rid of stuff or why I usually feel the need to buy more stuff. And I feel like lately it's been because some stuff doesn't fit as well as it used to. And I'm realizing this is a challenging thing for myself, but part of that is just because I haven't been going to the gym. And instead of buying a bunch of new clothes, I just need to go to the gym. Not in like a self-deprecating way, but just it's not worth the money to buy a whole new wardrobe when I need to actually just take care of myself, my body and the clothes that should fit, that I love. Like, for example, these are my favorite jeans, and I can wear them, but it's a little tight. They're standing jeans, not sitting jeans, if you know what I mean. I feel like I've been on a modesty journey too, just in thinking about what does real modesty look like as a Christian woman. And just like in looking out for other people and not making my clothing all about me. I want to wear stuff that I feel good in, but not to necessarily like draw a ton of attention to myself. So that's something I'm thinking about as I go through clothes.
Yeah.
Do I have too many pajamas?
Yeah, you have way too many pajamas.
How many pajamas do I need?
You need like 2.
3.
Give it. Those were like a spur of the moment.
I like them.
Yeah, those were a waste of money.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
The problem with these sweaters is I sweat in them. Like I never wore this year.
Looking good.
This is the studio. Harrison's mostly studio. And also our storage room.
Studio/storage room. Yeah. And laundry room.
Yeah.
This is our Swiss Army knife room.
This room's pretty organized because we just got a shelf behind you, but we're still gonna go through it because there's definitely stuff to get rid of. We said earlier that getting rid of things is hard because they kind of start to feel like part of you a little bit, so you don't want to get rid of it because you feel like you're giving a piece of yourself away. But a lot of this stuff, I think, is just coming to terms with realizing that it's just stuff and detaching from it emotionally, that my identity is not in what I own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, our identity is not in stuff, it's in Christ. So we don't need to hoard stuff and find it in that. We need to be okay with letting things go sometimes. Because that's what we have to do in general in life. We have to let things go.
Makes me think of like making purchases of things like that you're interested in for a moment and you buy it because it's exciting, and then you do it for a little bit and then you kind of get over it, and then you just have all this stuff and you spend all this money on something that you're really not passionate about. Mm-hmm. Instead of evaluating like what are the things I am passionate about and making those decisions for purchasing thoughtfully. But when I think about buying something, I try to wait and like put it on a list, and if I still want it and I keep thinking about it, then thinking more seriously about buying it rather than I'm just there and I want it, so I get it. Legolas. Hello. He's watching you, Harrison. Hey everybody, it's been a couple days since we were in this room last. So we're going to pick back up where we left off. We had some things to do over the weekend, so had to take a little break from the decluttering. But we're back, ready to finish it off. So far we just have this side of the room left, the living room, and the kitchen, and that's all we have left to declutter. So I'm just going to keep chugging along and putting things away. We're also about to leave for Alaska for a trip with my family, so as we do that, I'm kind of going to be pulling things out to pack for that. So you guys will have some videos from Alaska to look forward to. But let's go ahead, get into this stuff. I kind of did this. There's not a lot in here. I decluttered this really in depth last year in my last video, which you can watch here. Let's go ahead and continue decluttering. Okay, so this is a really good example actually of something that I'm not currently using, but I'm not going to be getting rid of because it's for something in the future. There are things when you go around to declutter where you might be asking yourself, like, am I using this? If I'm not, then I should get rid of it. But this is just an example I wanted to give of something that, even though I'm not using it, I know will be used in the future, and so I'm going to keep it. And if I have space for it, again, if you don't have the space for it, maybe think about that a little more deeply, but because we do, and this is something I know I want to have for the future, we're going to keep that. This stack of clothes might seem really random and like they should be gotten rid of, but this is my pile of clothes of things to be taken in or adjusted somehow with my sewing machine. I just haven't gotten to them yet. That is, again, another video that I want to do, is learning how to use my sewing machine more. So this is kind of my project pile, and I think that's another good thing if you have the skills, or maybe to consider learning the skills, how to change up your clothes, to upcycle things that you have that maybe you're not currently using but could be using if it was different in some way. So this is like a stack of clothes that maybe don't fit just right, and I know I would be wearing them and they're very nice quality if I just took the time to take them in. So because I have them and they might just not fit right, I want to try and see if I can take them in first before I go out and buy a new piece for that. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the living room, which is where kind of our entertainment central is, I guess I'll say. So behind me I have our bookshelf and our TV, basically just all the stuff that we use for entertainment. So I guess when I'm going through this section, I just want to think about, am I using my time well by keeping this thing, or is this thing taking up time in a negative way? I think books and movies have their place, but I want to think about them in the right mindset. Something this makes me think of for decluttering is, do some of the things that I have also work as decor? So the bookshelf behind us, they're not just our library, but they also are part of the aesthetic of our house. Certain of our belongings we can put on display that will also double as decor, and that's kind of what this area is. And how does that add to the environment of my home? And I think our library adds just a sense of coziness and personality, where we've handpicked these books. When people look at the bookshelf, they're like, oh, these are the kinds of things that Natalie and Harrison read. So as I go through that, that's kind of what I want to keep in mind. This is our very sad fish tank that really needs to be cleaned. Okay, everybody, this is the last room, the kitchen, and this room gets used multiple times throughout the day. So most of the stuff in the cabinets and our kitchen utensils, I know what's in it, or like our fridge and pantry, the food in it, I do know what is in it mostly, but there are things that always get to the back that just need to be gotten rid of probably. So let's start here. lot of stuff. I'm always surprised when I declutter how much stuff I actually do have that I don't need when I really think about it and ask those questions. And so I'm humbled and also convicted by how I spend my money. Yeah, I guess the reason that I want to continue to talk about decluttering really comes from a deeper issue of our challenge with being content with what we have and just a consumeristic culture, which not all consumerism is bad. I think God gave people gifts to create and to enjoy those things, and so there's that. But how much is too much? What do I actually need to enjoy, or what am I just consuming because this person has it, and so because they have it, I think I need it, or it's just like a fleeting moment of desire rather than an actual need or deep want, I guess. It just really helps me to think more deeply about my possessions in a good way, I think, of just how do I live faithfully with what I have? How do I be content with what I have? But also, how do I steward my stuff well and be generous with it? The stuff that I keep, how do I use that to bless others? The stuff that I give away, how do I use that to bless somebody else maybe that needs it more than I do? And so this will all be going to be donated. It always just feels really good to get rid of the clutter in my house, in my life, because it helps my brain feel more at peace, I guess, and more content with my circumstances. Like there's more space for me to breathe and think, and I think that is good, and I think we need more of that in the world. I think this is a continuous process because I need to continue trying to make an effort to make conscious decisions with my purchases and be really intentional, and I think budgeting is super helpful, which I'm terrible at, but I want to grow. So I hope this is a step in the right direction of actually what am I spending my money on? How do I use that well? How do I make purchases that are good for me, good for others, and is just stewarding what I have really well. So I hope this inspires you all to clean out your, even if it's just one room, even if it's just your closet. Obviously, the majority of this is from my closet, so I hope you feel inspired to do that, to think deeply about where am I really getting my satisfaction and my identity from. Is it my stuff? Is it what I wear? Or is it something bigger? And for me, that's Jesus and my identity in Him, my contentment in Him, that I have everything that I need, no matter how much or how little I do have. So I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video, which will be in Alaska.